What does Christmas taste like to you today? Is it the glossy imported chocolate boxes stacked high in supermarkets? The perfectly iced gingerbread men with candy button smiles? The striped peppermint canes twinkling from tree branches? Or the soft marshmallows melting into a mug of hot cocoa? It's easy to define Christmas with modern sweetness like these. Convenience is everywhere: ready-made mixes, pre-decorated treats, endless online recipes, and holiday trends flashing across TikTok. But close your eyes for a moment. Imagine stepping back to America in the 1970s, a time less polished, less hurried, but overflowing with warmth. What would Christmas taste like then? There were no viral baking hacks, no supermarket aisles packed with international sweets, no stand mixers humming on every counter. In those homes, candy was not bought, it was created. Sugar simmered slowly on the stove, thick and golden. Butter softened beneath warm fingertips. Vanilla drifted from kitchen to hallway like a messenger of winter. Children hovered beside the counter, impatient for the first cooled piece, eyes bright with a kind of joy that doesn't need packaging or perfection. The candies of that era weren't wrapped in shiny foil or shaped with professional precision. But they were real, they were sweet. They were love made edible. This article is a doorway back into that memory, a journey into the kitchens of 1970s America, where 25 Christmas candies became the taste of childhood. Every name holds a scent. Every bite carries a story. So step gently into this winter world where caramel cracked beneath the teeth, where chocolate melted slow and sincere, where peppermint snapped like fresh snow underfoot. A holiday long gone, yet wonderfully, achingly familiar. Panoch was the kind of candy that didn't need decoration to be loved. It was caramel in its purest form, soft, buttery, golden like the warm glow of an oil lamp on a winter night. In American kitchens of the 1970s, Panoch was almost always present, tucked into holiday tins or wrapped in wax paper to be shared with neighbors. Made from brown sugar, butter, and sweetened milk, it carried a richness that filled the room long before it reached the tongue. When cut into squares, the fragrance alone could make children hover near the counter, waiting for permission to taste. Adults appreciated its simplicity. Children adored its gentle sweetness that never felt overwhelming. Today we have endless commercial caramels, glossy and mass-produced, but Panoch remains the closest thing to caramel, made with heart, humble, fragrant, and warmly nostalgic. Divinity, its name alone whispers sweetness almost holy. These snowy white candies were light as clouds, whipped from pure sugar and egg whites until airy and delicate. In 1970s kitchens, mothers often folded in pecans or almonds, adding a gentle crunch beneath the soft melt of each bite. Set out on a tray, Divinity looked like winter captured in candy form, tiny clouds resting in the warmth of a Christmas kitchen, snowflakes that never melted. One bite was enough to summon memories of family, laughter, and frost on the window panes, a taste of Christmas itself. Not a candy for children, Bourbon balls carried a warmth only adults appreciated. Made from crushed cookies, cocoa, and a generous splash of bourbon, they offered a slow, lingering heat that chased away December's chill with every bite. In 1970s America, fathers often tucked a few aside to serve guests, an unspoken way of showing pride in their wives' holiday craft. Rich, bittersweet chocolate paired with the bold burn of whiskey created a flavor both mature and elegant. Bourbon balls weren't playful or light. They were grown-up sweetness, warm, deep, slightly dangerous, and unforgettable. Chocolate peppermint creams felt like Christmas captured in one perfect bite. A thin shell of dark chocolate, slightly bitter, wrapped around a cool peppermint center that melted like snow on the tongue. Children would taste one and their eyes would light up. Adults loved the gentle tingling sensation, like a winter breeze sweeping across the palate. Making them at home required patience, rolling, shaping, dipping each piece by hand, but the result was worth every minute. Unlike factory-made candies, these held the warmth of human effort, the quiet joy of creation, and a flavor that belonged only to the holidays. The first crack of peanut brittle was, for many families, the sound that Christmas had arrived. golden peanuts suspended in glossy caramelized sugar, brittle and shiny like ice under winter sun. The brown sugar was cooked just long enough to catch a hint of smokiness, giving the candy its signature depth. Children would gather around the counter, watching the molten mixture spread across the baking sheet like flowing lava. Once cooled, every break revealed a new landscape, amber shards studded with peanuts, crisp and irresistible. Simple, unpretentious, born from pantry staples, yet unforgettable to anyone lucky enough to taste it. Opera creams were velvet disguised as candy, silky smooth, dissolving on the tongue in seconds. Made from fresh cream, butter, and white sugar, they embodied the elegance of the 1970s. Light, refined, never overwhelmingly sweet. Each bite began with a delicate shell of chocolate that yielded instantly to the rich, dreamy center inside, like winter melting softly in the mouth. Considered a luxury confection at the time, opera creams often appeared in polished gift boxes, offered to relatives, business partners, or someone adored. They weren't just candy, they were a gesture, a sweetness given with intention. White on the outside, chewy at the core, coconut bonbons were like a tropical daydream dropped into a snowy December. In 1970s America, home cooks often dipped them in chocolate or tinted the shells in soft pastel hues, turning each piece into a tiny edible jewel. One bite released a gentle sweetness, and the warm scent of toasted coconut, soft enough to melt yet rich enough to linger. Not a complicated candy, nor a fancy one, just pure coconut pleasure. And for many, one bonbon was never enough. Chocolate fudge, soft, dense, deeply sweet and rich with cocoa. Just a small square is enough to feel like tasting a memory. For many teenagers of the 1970s, this was the candy they tried once and loved forever. Mothers stirred warm cocoa with golden butter in heavy pots, poured it into wooden molds, and left it to set while the house filled with a cozy holiday aroma. Families gathered around the table, breaking pieces by hand, sharing laughter and warmth. Fudge meant Christmas, simple, nostalgic, and unforgettable. Seafoam, a name that sounds like the ocean, yet this candy is soft, airy, and full of tiny bubbles like clouds. It resembles a honeycomb but bites like a crisp marshmallow. Dip it in warm, melted chocolate, and it transforms into the most delightful homemade gift to share with neighbors. Americans loved seafoam for its gentle crackle, the way it snaps lightly, then dissolves instantly on the tongue. It's sweet, brief, and beautifully fleeting, one moment there, the next gone like foam on the waves. A small treat, yet unforgettable, capturing the magic of holidays in a single bite. Pralines are a classic Southern American candy made from buttery caramel, creamy milk, and crunchy pecans. Rich with the aroma of vanilla and the warmth of slow-cooked sugar, they are indulgent yet never overwhelmingly sweet. In earlier times, grandmothers wrapped homemade pralines in wax paper and delivered them to neighbors during the holidays, each piece a small blessing of peace, comfort, and goodwill. Even though modern factory-made versions are everywhere today, nothing compares to the old copperpot pralines of the past. Their flavor carries history, tradition, and the tenderness of hands that stirred, waited, and shared from the heart. Molasses taffy comes in a deep, earthy brown, stretchy like chewing gum but packed with the bold flavor of cane molasses. Its sweetness isn't bright or sugary. Instead, it tastes grounded and old-fashioned, rich with natural minerals and history. Children loved pulling it into long ribbons, laughing as it stretched farther and farther, while adults preferred to chew slowly, letting the dark molasses unfold on the tongue. This candy carries the memory of agricultural America, of wheat fields under wide skies, of wooden barns dusted with snow, of winter evenings warmed by simple pleasures made with hands, patience, and tradition. Caramels are soft, buttery squares that melt slowly on the tongue, sweet and warm like the crackle of a hearth in winter. Every household had its own recipe, some stirred in sea salt for balance, others folded in heavy cream or pure vanilla for extra richness. In the 1970s, a single caramel was more than candy to a child. It was a reward, A moment of pride, a treasure earned after finishing homework or helping set the table. Just one small piece could brighten a whole evening, carrying with it the tenderness of home, family, and simple joys that never lose their sweetness. Butterscotch drops are golden, honey-colored hard candies that melt slowly, releasing layers of brown sugar and butter like a warm wool scarf around the neck. They bring to mind old tin boxes, the soft click of the lid opening, followed by a gentle wave of buttery sweetness. Children once carried them to school, saving one bright yellow drop for recess or a long walk home. They weren't extravagant or fancy, just a simple pleasure that stretched through childhood like a familiar melody. A single butterscotch drop could turn an ordinary moment into something warm, comforting, and unforgettable. Toffee is crisp and glass-like, rich with butter, often finished with a layer of chocolate and a scatter of roasted almonds. When snapped, it breaks with that familiar crack like footsteps across frozen snow. In the 1970s, families poured it into thick sheets and broke it by hand into uneven shards, simple, rustic, yet more charming than anything wrapped in store-bought foil. It was a treat built on patience, slow cooking, steady stirring, waiting for it to cool into amber perfection. Like winter itself, toffee required time to become something sweet, something worth the wait each Christmas. Nougat is a soft, ivory-colored confection threaded with almonds or bright pieces of candied fruit. It is pliable, chewy, yet gentle enough to enjoy without effort. Children love the pops of red and green embedded inside, like tiny ornaments nestled within a Christmas tree. In the 1970s, Nougat held a place of quiet elegance in holiday gift boxes, refined, understated, never loud yet impossible to overlook. Its flavor was delicate, its sweetness calm and smooth, like a hymn rising softly above the festive noise. A candy that didn't need to dazzle to be remembered, it simply lingered, tender and timeless. Peppermint bark is a Christmas essential, festive, simple, and impossible to forget. A smooth layer of dark chocolate forms the base, topped with creamy white chocolate and sprinkled generously with crushed red and white peppermint like fresh snow on a rooftop. One bite brings a wave of sensations: cool mint, lingering sweetness, and the gentle warmth of chocolate melting on the tongue. Families often break the bark into rustic shards, slipping them into red paper bags tied with twine for gifts. It's easy to make, easy to share, and even easier to recall long after the holidays are gone, a tradition that tastes like winter itself. Cherry cordials are little treasures of holiday indulgence, each piece holding a whole cherry soaked lightly in liqueur and wrapped in a smooth coat of chocolate. Bite into one and a burst of sweet, tangy cherry syrup spills across the tongue, carrying a hint of warmth from the alcohol. It's a candy meant more for adults than children, its flavor elegant and subtly spirited. In many homes, cherry cordials were reserved for Christmas Eve, enjoyed slowly while families gathered near the fireplace, watching old black and white films. One bite felt like celebration itself, rich, fragrant, and beautifully nostalgic. Marzipan fruits were tiny works of edible art, little apples, oranges, peaches, each shaped and painted with care until they looked almost too perfect to touch. On Christmas tables of the 1970s, they added color and charm like miniature decorations you could eat. Children often admired them more than they tasted them, reluctant to destroy something so pretty. But one bite revealed a soft, sweet almond richness that lingered warmly on the palate. Delicate, fragrant, and unmistakably European in character, these candies carried the elegance of old-world confectionery into American holiday celebrations. They were as lovely to behold as they were irresistible to enjoy. Turkish Delight was a soft, jelly-like cube, almost translucent like packed snow, dusted in a veil of powdered sugar light as breath. Often flavored with rosewater or orange essence, each bite felt like a small journey to lands far beyond the American winter. In the 1970s, this candy stood out as something exotic, floral, delicate, and unlike the heavier sweets of the season. It offered a sense of adventure in taste, a gentle escape wrapped in sweetness. For those who tried it, Turkish delight was more than candy, it was a momentary passport to the warmth and mystery of the East. Fondant was the smooth, creamy sugar candy that shaped Christmas in gentle colors and soft textures. In the 1970s, it was rolled, cut, molded, and dyed bright red, green, and snowy white to match the season's cheer. Children loved fondant not just for the sweetness, but for the way it behaved like edible clay perfect for sculpting snowmen, stars, and tiny candy canes. It tasted sweet yet subtle, dissolving faster than fudge and leaving only a whisper of sugar behind. Fondant wasn't loud or intense. It was tender, festive, and comforting like a sweet holiday wish, melting softly on the tongue. Ribbon candy curled like pastel silk, delicate and glossy under the warm glow of Christmas lights. In 1970s America, it wasn't just a treat but a decoration hung on evergreen branches or displayed proudly in crystal bowls on living room tables. Its texture was firm and brittle, flavored with peppermint or cinnamon that slowly released a cool, tingling warmth as it melted. Children rarely finished more than one piece, yet they never forgot it. Ribbon candy lived in memory not just for its sweetness, but for its beauty candy so lovely it felt like it was meant to be admired before eaten. Maple walnut fudge feels like a snowy morning lit by amber sunlight, sweet, warm, and quietly comforting. If chocolate fudge is winter's deep night, this is the gentle dawn, flavored with golden maple syrup that tastes like the heart of the forest. Soft and creamy with scattered walnut pieces for crunch, it offers sweetness balanced by a natural, earthy richness. Adults in the 1970s cherished it for its subtle maple aroma, refined rather than overpowering, familiar yet special. Maple walnut fudge wasn't loud or flashy, it was elegant, grown-up, and unforgettable, a winter gift wrapped in pure maple warmth. Peanut butter balls were little bites of creamy gold, soft, rich, and impossibly addictive. Made by mixing powdered sugar with peanut butter and rolling it into smooth spheres, they were then dipped in melted chocolate to form a thin, snappy shell. Children could eat them by the handful without ever getting tired of the sweet, salty harmony. In the 1970s, home bakers often produced them in big batches, neatly packed in tins or jars for neighbors and holiday guests. Simple to make, comforting to eat, peanut butter balls were proof that the most unpretentious treats often bring the biggest joy. Rock candy shimmered like crystallized snow, a jewel of sugar grown slowly in a glass jar. Made from simple syrup and tinted in bright holiday colors, it fascinated children as much for its magic as for its sweetness. Kids often swirled the crystal-coated sticks into hot tea or cocoa, watching the sugar melt like frost beneath sunlight. In the 1970s, rock candy was more than just a treat, it was a science experiment, a decoration, and a little wonder of Christmas all at once. To see sugar transform into sparkling shards felt like witnessing winter magic unfold right on the kitchen counter. Candy canes are Christmas embodied, red and white stripes curled into a shepherd's hook, cool with peppermint and bright as holiday lights. They dangled from tree branches, filled stockings, and clinked lightly in jars on kitchen counters. Children loved to slowly suck them down to a pointed tip, a mischievous ritual repeated year after year. More than candy, they were tradition, the taste of carols drifting through snowy streets, of glittering garlands and warm fireplaces. Familiar yet somehow sacred, candy canes represented the holiday itself, a piece of Christmas you could hold, taste, and remember long after winter passed. Christmas in 1970 didn't have TikTok baking trends, luxury imported chocolates, or $100 gift baskets wrapped in ribbons and gold foil. Instead, the holiday was built from simpler things, 25 kinds of candy made slowly, patiently, lovingly in warm kitchens across America. And perhaps that is exactly what we are missing today. Now candy arrives with a click. It ships in perfect packaging, factory glossed, uniform, convenient. But do we still notice the scent of caramel turning amber on the stove? Do we still wait beside the counter for fudge to cool, too excited to sit still? Do we still break a brittle piece in half and share it like a treasure, feeling the room warm with laughter and cinnamon air? Maybe what we need is not more sweetness, but the time to taste it. Maybe we need to slow down, to stand over a saucepan with a wooden spoon, to watch sugar bubble and butter melt like memories resurfacing. Because Christmas candy is more than flavor, it is storytelling. It is childhood running through the hallway. It is a mother's apron dusted with powdered sugar, a father sneaking bourbon balls after the kids sleep. It is the sound of ribbon candy crackling like ice, the peppermint sting of a cane turning sharp at the tip, the way fudge crumbles softly like a snowdrift in your hand. So if you can make one of these candies again, let vanilla fill the rooms. Let chocolate drip like warmth into winter. Let someone young taste a holiday the way people once did, slowly, tenderly, truthfully. Because Christmas never really needed extravagance. It only ever needed sweetness and someone to share it with. Wishing you a holiday that is warm, unhurried, and dusted with the sugar of the past.